Welcome, Jack Ma.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank
Thank you. We've all become very cognizant of Jack and his story. And when Alibaba went public with the largest IPO in history, we knew a lot more about him. So I want to talk about his personal story. I want to talk about how many times he tried and failed, what kept him going. I want to talk about where he is today and how he got here, and where he is going and how he expects to get there. And if he gets there, what will it all mean for him and for the people that he wants to inspire? So I begin with this question, though, Jack. Why are you back at Davos?
It's a long break for 7 years. I think my last trip here was year 2008. But I was coming for year 2001 for the Young Global Leader for Tomorrow. And remember, I never heard about the Davos when I came. But when I came, in the Switzerland, so many young people demonstrate. It was such a horrible thing that I asked them, why did they do it? They say, anti-globalization. And I say, why? Globalization is a great thing. Why people don't like it? And then we come all the way for 2 hours here. There's a machine gun. There's people checking. I say, oh God, is that a forum or is that prison we're gonna go? Is that? But when I joined the forum at the Young Global Leader, I was thrilled by so many ideas. For the first 3-4 years, I learned what does the globalization mean? What does the corporate citizenship mean? What about social responsibility mean? All these new ideas, and I see so many great leaders talking about leadership, and I benefit a lot. And the year 2008 and 2009, when the financial crisis came, I think it's better to go back to work. Because we can never win the world by talking. So we go back, spend 7 years. Now I come back, I think it's time to do something return. Because I learned so much.
Let's talk
12 years ago. So why I should not talking to the young global leader of today, sharing with them how we've gone through. Okay. So that was the thing.
Let's start with where you are today. Just how big is Alibaba? How many people come every day? How many people come in a week? How fast is it growing?
Yeah, we have over 100 million buyers visiting our site, shopping our site every day. And we created
100 million every day.
We created 14 million jobs for China, directly and indirectly. And we grow from 18 people to 30,000 people, 18 people in my apartment, to now we have 4 big campus. Compared to 15 years ago, we were big. But compared to 15 years later, we're still a baby.
How big will you be 15 years from now?
I think 15 years ago, I told my team that in the past 15 years, we grow from nothing to this size. And 15 years later, I want people to know about Alibaba, know Taobao, because it's already everywhere. I want 15 years ago when we talk about what is e-commerce, why small business can using this e-commerce, this internet, can do business across the nation. And I hope 15 years later, people forget about e-commerce because they think it's like electricity. Nobody thinks it's a high tech today. Now, this is something that I don't want 15 years later. We still walk on the street talking about why and how e-commerce can help people.
Talk about the IPO. Did it exceed your expectations?
Well, it's a pretty small IPO, 250.
Yes.
Yeah.
The largest IPO in the history of Wall Street.
We raised.
And number 2 was a Chinese bank.
Thank you. I remember year 2001. We went to raise some 5 million, 3 million venture capitalist dollars in the USA, and got rejected. And I say we'll come back raising a little bit more. But I think, what we think more about is for $25 billion, how we can spend the money efficiently, because this is not the money, this is the trust from the world, the trust from those people. They want to do better jobs to help more people. They want to have a good return. So I think gives me more pressure, because when our market cap is bigger than IBM, for a certain day we're bigger than Walmart. We're one of the top 10, 15 largest market cap company in the world. I told my team and myself, is that true? We're not that good. Because years ago, people say, Alibaba model is terrible. Does not make money, have this and that, all the big bad things, because Amazon is better, eBay is better, Google is better, and there's no such model like Alibaba in the USA. So I told myself and people, we were better than people thought. But today, when we are that big size, I said, no, we are not that good as people thought. We're just a company 15 years old. Average age is 27, 28 years old, young people. We're doing something that human beings have never tried. So
I want to talk about the future. Let me take you back to when you were born in Hangzhou, where the headquarters still are.
Yep.
And your campus is there.
You don't have a loot, don't move your loot. Your headquarters
Your
there.
roots are there.
Yeah, you found it there, loot there.
You grew up in the 60s.
64.
Born in 64. That was the time of the Cultural Revolution.
Yeah, it was the end of the Cultural Revolution. It was, well, my grandfather was a tiny landlord, was considered, after liberation, was considered to be a bad guy. So I know how tough it was when I was a kid.
You tried to get into 3 colleges. Each time they rejected you.
No, I tried. There's an examination that young people, if you want to go to university, you have to take the examinations. So I failed 3 times.
Right.
But a lot of fail. I failed for funny things that I failed a key primary school test for 2 times. And I failed 3 times for the middle schools. And you will never believe in Hangzhou, my city, there's only 1 middle school that lasts only 1 year. It was changed from primary school to middle school because our graduates of our school, no middle school accept us because we were too bad. Yeah. They would become a middle school.
What effect did it have, though, being rejected?
Well, I think we have to get used to it. We're not that good. Even today, we still have a lot of people reject us. I think when I graduated from universities, and before I, for 3 years, I tried to fill in the universities. So I applied jobs for 30 times, got rejected. I went for a police, they said, no, you're not good. I went to even the KFC. When KFC came to China, come to my city, 24 people went for the job. 23 people were accepted. I was the only one guy. And we went for police. 5 people, 4 of them accepted. I was the only guy that I received it. So to me, being turned down, rejected. Oh, by the way, I told you that I applied for Harvard for 10 times, rejected. I know I'll be rejected. I just want to say that.
They're sorry now. 10 times you wrote them and said, I'd like to come to Harvard.
Yeah. And then I told myself, someday I should go teach there, maybe.
I think that can be arranged. Richard Nixon came to Hangzhou.
Yeah.
And after that, tourists flooded the place.
Yeah.
And that's how you learned English.
Yeah. I really like I don't know why, at 12, 13 years old, that time I suddenly fell in love into the language, the English. And there's no place you can learn English at that time. There's no books, English books. So I went to the Hangzhou hotel, now called Hangzhou Shangri-La Hotel, because that was the hotel can receive the foreign visitors. So every morning for 9 years, I showed them around as a free guide, and they taught me English. And I think that changed me. Today, I'm a 100% made in China. I've never got a one-day train outside China.
Yeah.
And when people talk to me, say, Jack, how can you speak English like that? Why sometimes you talk like an Western guys? I think that was the 9 years. These Western tourists opened my mind because everything they told me are so different from the things I learned from the schools and from my parents. So now I have a habit. Whatever I see, whatever I read, I use my mind. Think about it for 2 minutes.
Is that how Ma Jun became Jack Ma?
Actually, Jack, the name was given by a lady in tennis. She's a tourist. She came here and she said, came to Hangzhou. We become a pen friends. Ma Ring is so difficult to pronounce. So she said, do you have an English name? I said, don't. So can you give me an English name? She said, okay. She said, my father called it Jack. My husband called Jack. What do you think about Jack? I said, good. So I've been using that for that many years.
Yeah. First visit to America, 1995?
1995, yeah. I came here for a project helping the local government to building up a highway.
And you tried the internet.
I tried the internet in Seattle. And in a building called the U.S. Bank. I don't know whether the U.S. Bank is still there or not, but there's a building. And my friend opened a small office, which is like only 10% bigger than this room. And there are a lot of computers in there. And he said, Jack, this is internet. I asked, what is internet? He said, search whatever you want. At that time, they used Mosaic, very slow, right? Yeah. And I said, I don't use it. I don't want to type because computer is so expensive in China. If I destroy it, yes, I cannot pay. He said, just to search it. So I searched the first word, beer. I don't know why, because it's easy to spell, baby. And I see beers from Germany, beers from USA, beers from Japan, but there's no beer from China. And I say, okay, type the second word is China. No data.
Nothing.
Nothing. And I said,
1995.
1995. No data about China. So I talked to my friend. Why not make something about China? So we made a small, very ugly-looking page called China. It's something like I did a translation agency. We listed on there. It was so shocking. We launched at 9:40 in the morning. 12:30, I got a phone call from my friend. He said, Jack, you got 5 emails. I said, what is email? And they say, these are the things. Say, people so excited. Where are you? This is the first time I see a Chinese website on that. How can we can we do something together? So I think this is something interesting. So we should do it.
Why did you call it Alibaba?
Alibaba? Well, when I started, I think internet is global. We should have a global name. And a name that, interesting, like at that time, the best name is Yahoo. Right, so I've been thinking for many days, suddenly thinking Alibaba is a good name. So I happened to be in San Francisco that day. I did have a lunch, and the waitress came. I asked her, do you know about Alibaba? She said, yes. I said, what is Alibaba? She said, Open Sesame. Good. So I went on the street, asked about 10, 20 people. They all know about Alibaba, 40 Thieves, and Open Sesame. And I think this is a good name. And start with A. Whatever you talk about, Alibaba is always top.
You have said before that in creating Alibaba, you had to create trust.
Yep.
Because people in China were used to face-to-face.
Yeah.
How did you create trust?
I think because we started about doing business on the internet. I don't know you, you don't know me. So how can you do things online unless you have trust? So for e-commerce, the most important thing was trust. I think when I first went to USA for raising money, talk to the venture capitalists, a lot of people say, oh, Jack, no. China doing business by the guanxi. How can you do business on internet? And I know that without the trust system, the credit system, it's impossible to do business. So in the past 14 years, everything we do is trying to build up the trust system, the record system. Well, Charlie, I'm so proud today when I talk to the young. Today in China and in the world, people don't trust each other. The government and people and media and everybody think, this guy's cheating. But because of e-commerce, we finish 60 million transactions every day. People don't know each other. I don't know you, I send products to you. You don't know me, you wire the money to me. And I don't know you, I give a person a package, I don't know him. He took something to cross the ocean, cross river, and send. This is the trust. We have at least 60 million trust happening every day.
But you created it by creating an escrow account in the beginning.
Yep.
And so you keep the money until they got the product.
Yeah.
And then you release the money.
That's true. I mean, the escrow service is about Alipay. When I this idea, I would love Davos, because it was a big decision. Because for first 3 years, Alibaba is just like e-marketplaces for information. What you have, what I have, we talk a lot of time, but don't do any business. Because there is no payment. I talk to the banks, no banks want to do it. Banks say, no, this thing never work. So I don't know what to do. Because if I start to launch a payment system, it's against the financial legal laws. Because you have to have a license. But if I don't do it, e-commerce will go nowhere. So then I went to Davos. I listened to a leadership discussion. Leadership is about responsibility. And after I listened to that panel, I give a call to my friends, my colleagues in my apartment, say, do it now, immediately. If something wrong, the government not happy about that, if one body has to go to the prison, Jack might go to the prison. Because it is so important for China, for the world, to build up the trust system. And if you do not do it, and do not do it properly, stealing money, money wash, no trust record, I send you to the prison. That was the thing. And people don't like it. So many people I talked to at that time for Alipay, they say, this is the stupidest idea you have ever got. But I say, I don't wear the stupid clever as long as people use it. Now we have 800 million people using this Alipay. Stupid things, if you do it better, is better.
Alipay is a privately held thing. It's not part of Alibaba.
No, it's a
Let
private.
me talk about money for a second.
Yeah.
You have never gotten money from the Chinese government?
No.
None.
I want it at the beginning, and later I don't want it, because I think if the company always think about picking money from out of the government pockets, that company is rubbish. Think about how can you make money from the customers and market, and then help customers succeed. That's our philosophy.
No money from Chinese banks?
No. I at that time I want, and now they want to give me, I don't want it.
Yeah. All right. Your relationship with the government.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What's your relationship? I mean, if they didn't, here's what some say, that you have existed in an environment that's not, they have restricted competition for you. And that's a pretty good thing to do for a private company.
Yeah. I think the relationship with the government for us is very interesting. For the first 5 years, because I've been working as a part-time jobber for a government organization called Ministry of Foreign Trade, 1997, for 14 months. And I learned that you should never rely on government organization to do e-commerce. And I started a business. I told my people and team, in love with the government, don't marry them.
Yes.
Respect them. And a lot of people say, well, government officers talking about internet, the censorship and this, that, and they worry about. I think it's the opportunity, it's a responsibility talking to them, tell them how internet can help.
So you tell them we create jobs.
Oh yeah, I think a lot of people debate and fight against them, and in the first 12 years, anybody come to my office, I sit down, talking to them, how we can help economy, how we can create jobs, why China will improve by the internet. I think because internet at that time is new to any government, and if you convince somebody, and you have the chance. So today I'm very talkative. That probably this is why I talk to so many people.
So, I mean, if the government comes to you and asks you to do something for them.
Normally, when government comes say, Jack, can you do this project? I say no. I say no. I can introduce some friends who are interested in doing that for you. But if they continue to want me to do it, I say, okay, I do it, but I don't charge.